What is up, adventurers, and welcome to another ShawnSetGO video. Today, we're going to be talking about one of those unique group situations that I think don't come along that often, so I thought we would talk about it a bit. But before we jump into the video, of course, thank you so much for your support, especially in the last video. It's been super awesome to see all the new subscribers, so welcome, and welcome to all the returning viewers as well. Today, we're going to talk about some of this stuff in retail, but I mean, I just got done playing a long hardcore session, so before I get too tired and my character accidentally dies, let's jump into the video. So this one was actually by the looks of it, a time walking event, and this person says I won't I won't take this lying down. So at first you could see the photo here. It says, please enter the reason to vote, kick Kazakh bad healers. Like, oh well, I'm about to make another healer video. Here we go. Turns out there's a bit of interesting situation attached to it. It says tank was pulling the whole dungeon and we wiped a few times on trash. Started blaming the healer for not producing miracles and asked the team to kick the healer. Team agreed with tank. Vote to kick initiated bad healer on tank. Team agreed without reading the player's name. Vote passed and the tank was kicked. I'm the healer. So the healer, noticing that people had a disdain with their healing, started putting a vote to kick with the phrase bad healer. There's some meta five-head choices that to be made here. But I mean, it's hard to tell because doing time walking for the most part is basically a long pull, like insane just rush, because I don't think any of the scaling even matters. I mean, like, but here's the thing, not everybody is on the same level. I mean, when you do these groups, there's a huge difference between, say, like a 74 and someone below and then someone above. I can't remember where exactly it is, but somewhere it's like in the 73 to 75 range. Like, it changes drastically. So if this healer is not max level, then that to me is like maybe like the, what do they say, the mining canary, like, you know, the thing that tells you that, like, oh wow, we gotta get out of here. So I wonder if that's the case. It's one of those funny situations where I don't necessarily want to place blame on the tank. I know I'm biased because I play tank, but at the same time, for the most part, I haven't done any time walking that hasn't been a breeze. The only time it's been slower is when, like, there's clearly large level differences. And basically I'm doing more damage than everybody else, which is strange as a tank. But I mean, it's nothing bad. So I mean, like, I wonder how much is the tank pulling still. But at the same time, I mean, let's look at some of the posts and see what people are saying. So it says, made my day, but now he has to play with idiots that don't like him. Getting kicked from the toxic group is a good thing. I mean, I guess you could see it that way. I think the deserter debuff is not the best thing in the world, but I guess you could look at it with a silver lining like that. Let's see, legend. Every Zulfaric I've queued into is a mess full fest. The problem is that 20% of them good tanks don't actually need a healer to keep up. The rest are idiots hallucinating an MDI announcer. I would love to be an announcer for one of these big events, you know, like just to be absolutely wild in these events. But yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. For the most part, I think it's one spectrum or the other. I think that you have most tanks who run through these time walking things, it's pretty much a breeze and they don't need any assistance. Here's my motto as tank, though. I mean, like, I typically don't tank more than I can handle. If the DPS pulls extra beyond what I consider normal, I'll still try. But if we die, I'm not going to be like, it's my fault. So let's see. Nothing. I was the only one who protested this outrage. Is this the person? The vote to kill. Oh, there it is. You have reached level 6. There it is. All right, there's a level right there. The afterwards, the question. People were so confused. Man. I want to be this guy, but you might want to edit the screenshot even more because his name is still visible. Looks better after the edit. This Invoker first instant leader is a druid. They're aware it was edited before you reply. It's used to show the druid's name. There was an attempt at censorship. What is with these douchey underskilled tanks that just run through and pull whole instances, run on a LOS, and blame healers? Seems like the only time it doesn't happen anymore is a follower dungeons. Okay, that's a bit dramatic. I've been both tank and healer since BC. It isn't much, but I was one of the top tanks in ICC in our realm. Tanking has more responsibility. Healing. I really don't think this is that deep, guys. I really don't think it's to the level of this is a thing of the changing of the times. I think this is a matter of, yeah, people running time walking who have varying skill levels, and when you run through dungeons and people are on a speed fest, it's either an issue of the tank needs to take a temperature, read the room. Are you able to pull 10 mobs with no issues? Do you need healing in that process? Or is the healer providing healing? Like kind of get a read of the room. And if it's the case that you can do more, but like if it's not, then just take a little extra time. Like it's hard to say, but I mean, honestly, if you're in these situations, I mean, they're kind of self-induced for the most part. It seems to me. Kazik says it all, assuming you're on EU. Something is just wrong with that realm. I agree. A server in flames. What's going on with Kazik, you guys? I vote kick the tank that tried to vote kick the healer under sucks for tank trying to pull most of the instance at once. I hate the tank with sucks. Vote kick that passed. I wished voted out that person saw that reason. New tank pulled reasonable and healer did great. Yeah, I mean, I wish these things had like reviews. Like you could review your vote to kick reasons. You know, back in like whenever you get kicked, you can see like the highlight reel, you know, at the end of the play of the game version of this. So I mean, like self-reflection, induced self-reflection, I guess is the main thing. I mean, the thing is, I've been in plenty of like Mist the Tyranid Scythe runs where truly it's the healer. Like people are dying and like I'm popping defensives and I'm like, I hate to break it to you, but it's not looking good. But at the same time, I've also been in situations where the DPS gets overzealous and pulls too much, and all of a sudden everybody has a shadow debuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you pull a group and everyone gets one shot because they didn't let the other debuff fall off. So it's wild. Of course it was Kazik. I started tealing this expansion and all I got to say, leveling dungeons, low keys, and LFR raid has been the most difficult content to heal. Normal and heroic raid is a breeze to the point where I can chill and do my DPS rotation, avoidable dampage windows because people don't take half their health to a swirly every 3 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I think that oddly enough, mythics are still pretty good for being pretty chill. It's weird though to me that mythics are more full of sweats than raids are. I feel like raids should have been the peak sweat, but in reality raids have been super chill for me lately. I managed to pull this off once before, and even the friends of the kicky voted to kick without reading. Their tears felt so great. I always remember that movement or that moment when I could see the writing on the wall, but sometimes it comes without warning. I keep running into these insane, usually warriors that just speed run and pull the pull while everyone dies behind them. Like, I get it, man. You're just farming tokens, but you're agreeing to team with the 4 others when you queue. I vote kick them if they won't chill after being after being asked. It usually goes through. I mean, I think people got this wrong mindset. I think that. I mean, really, in reality, whose fault is this? It's Blizzard's fault. it's Blizzard's fault in this situation. Yeah, as an 80 tank, I'm not pulling one group at a time at all. I'm going to run through as fast as humanly capable. And I mean, of course, without killing people, but I mean, for some, I mean, it feels like you can pull most, if not all, the dungeon without any need or assistance. I think it's a difference between doing the time walking just for the tokens and doing time walking because you're getting something out of it, actually, like gear out of it in some sort of way. So, I mean, maybe that's the difference. But it's wild. So I've been power leveling through a friend through time walkers since the money is good, and I would gear tanks. Seriously, loot guys. DM in particular is a F ton of gold. Really? Last night, his internet went out and he had to restart the router. At this point, what is happening? I say in instance chat, hey, my buddy DC, literally running these for him. He's on his way back, had to restart the router. We continue on. Ask of a sudden, but after 10 seconds, a vote to kick goes out for a random. We deny it. Then one goes out for my DC buddy. One of the DPS says, yo, Tank says he's coming back. Stop trying to vote kick. Healer says something along the lines of crappy damage and AFK. At this point, I vote kick the healer, which passes. My friend comes back and we just contributed without a healer since I'm a paladin. The kicked healer starts flaming the entire. This is like the 3rd time I've seen this phrase, flaming. Guys, what is this phrase? The entire team whispers. It was actually hilarious. Any one of the randos went from 20 to 73 last night with us, and BNet friended me, so that was cool. I would say it sets a poor standard for dungeons to be giving people this much, because I get that we're trying to make the game alt friendly, but at the same time, it really feels like it sets poor standards for how dungeons should be. Like, it's good for the short term, but it's bad for the long term, if that makes sense. It feels like we all inevitably suffer for something that it's like, of course people are going to use it and exploit it, and then set poor standards and bad etiquette for groups. I feel like, though, if someone is spamming vote to kick, I would say, the phrase, like, if you don't know who the is in the room, it's probably you. I would say if you do 10 groups in a day, right, and you vote to kick in 70% of those, then there needs to be like a kickback. Like, it's not me, it's you type of thing. Like, where it's like, you've done it so many times that it's like, it's gotta be this guy. Like, this guy's just unpleasant, right? I was healing a time walking dungeon when a DPS killed instantly, charged onto a pack, misreading the situation. We ended the fight and I went to res him. Tank said to release, but he didn't, of course. I was already resurrecting him. The tank vote kicked him in cold blood. I questioned it in chat. He said, "You are next." Oh my god, what is happening in these groups? He whispered some Slavic words to me. I couldn't do anything about it. Went on our ways. What is happening in these time walking dungeons? Wow. That's insane. It's too much. This is so toxic. My wife and I leveled a healer tank combo. We leveled entirely by doing time walking. The second you try to do quests or pull a group that isn't mandatory for getting the boss as quickly as possible, you get vote kicked. First of all, I don't know the ideal way to pull these dungeons. It's the first time I've ever tanked, and it was the first time classic dungeons were offered for time walking. I've said this before to people. I've mentioned it in a prior video. Let's see. There's a there's a good site you can use. Okay, I found the guide. So I spent a little time finding the guide, but here it is. For those of you who do struggle in some of these old world dungeons, I see this a lot when it comes to time walking and people who struggle with it. This is something that you could use to help you no matter what expansion you're playing. So I recommend using something like this. I mean, of course, if you have video guides and whatever you prefer to do, but if you're going through old world dungeons and you're really struggling, you can use this. It'll show you where it is if that matters. It'll show you routing if that matters to you. It'll show you the bosses if that matters to you. So it gives you this a simple breakdown of all of this, like all of the dungeon, and that way you're not struggling as much. It's quickdungeon.wordpress.com, and it'll do all the dungeon for you. It's really quick and easy to go through. So if you are going through these and you just need like a quick overview, I mean, for the most part, anything classic anyways is going to be tank and spec. There's not going to be very much else to it. So that's my thought with that. But I mean, like when it comes to not knowing, I don't want to be like, it's kind of on you. Like you watch, you know, like if you're doing a dungeon for it, especially from an old expansion, because a lot of people already know it, you kind of have to watch a quick video or something like that. Not everyone's going to have that level of patience when it comes to it. So that's kind of on you. Especially if you're spamming these dungeons, you know, and you're kind of running them back to back to back to back. But imagine how hard it was for us back then, I guess. But I know that's not everyone's opinion. So I'm definitely fully aware that I'm probably in the minority of thought when it comes to that. So totally understandable. But I would say in this specific situation, I think in a way it's justified, but in the end, you're with a group that didn't want you there in the first place, because like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't just vote to kick you, you know. If you're doing it for your own self-satisfaction, then sure, you know, like I mean, like who cares? But in these situations, I think it's best that you kind of remove yourself from the situation. You're like, this is not for me. Like, this is not working for me. Find a different group, etc., etc. Because like sometimes it's honestly, a change of scenery will change your life. So I highly recommend it if at all. And that to me would change a lot of things, because like I said, like I think that the raid etiquette is something that I think needs to merge to dungeons. But a lot of people like to put all the toxicity on mythics, but in reality, it starts here. It starts here in these time walking dungeons. And this is why people are toxic in mythic. You know, it's people are like terrible in mythic. You know, I know it's not everyone's experience, but in reality, this is why. This is why these spam dungeoning, like zero learning, zero thought. You hope for like a tank that can just do it without your help and basically carry you. And whenever that doesn't work out, then people gripe and people get upset with each other, and then people say someone never has any qualms in time walking, they carry that attitude into mythic, and that's the wrong mindset to have, I think. And God forbid raids as well. And this is why whenever you do like a pug raid, people don't even try. Like they literally do enough for their vault and then they leave. They have no desire to do more than that. It's just because of this mindset. So I think, to me, our time walking's good. Is time walking good for alts? Of course, but I think overall time walking, outside of like the raiding experiences, to like do old raids and get people to do those, and then get like vendor gear from those for badges. Outside of that, I think it's a net negative. To just because it feels like it causes more problems than it does create benefits. Like it doesn't make anybody better at the game. Time walking is not improving anyone's experience at the end game. It's experiencing for people who like leveling alts, but it's not experiencing the game for anybody else. So that's my thoughts on it. I know it's not the most popular of opinions, and I'm aware of that, but anyways, if you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the page. Of course, we are bouncing between retail content and classic content. We will be jumping into more raids and mythics and higher keys pretty soon. So if you'd like to join the Discord and join us, I plan on tanking, and I'll be streaming that live Monday, Wednesday, Friday on our Twitch channel, ShawnSetGO. So join us there, join us in the Discord, share content that you would like to see in the channel. A next video that I plan on working on is probably going to be something regarding raiding. So if you have any content that you would like me to react to or talk about or discuss or start discussions on, just let me know in there. But until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.